Hi, everybody. We're back to offer recommendations for books, movies, music, and more that you can check out from the Carmel Clay Public Library. I'm Catherine, and I'm joined today by Susan, and we are going to be sharing our 3 top picks from 2023 to kick off the new year. So Susan, I know this is really hard. What were your 3 favorite books from last year?
Oh, this is such a tricky proposition, and I actually have quite a few more books that I'd love to share. But my top 3 today there are 2 fiction titles and 1 nonfiction title. And the first one is a debut novel entitled Maame by Jessica George. Maame has many meanings in Twi, but in her case, Maddie's case, it means woman. In this powerful book, we meet a 20-something Maddie called Maame by her family. Maddie is the main caregiver for her father, who suffers from Parkinson's. She has no life outside of caring for her dad and no real help from her brother, who is busy with his life, or her mother, who spends most of her time in Ghana. Maddie finally gets the opportunity to find her own flat and start living her life. She runs into that new life full force and makes a few mistakes on her way. But she learns a lot from herself and about herself and really comes into her own. This is a really heartwarming story. My second novel is The Museum of Failures by Thrity Umrigar. Remy Wadia has left India when he was a university student and has settled successfully into Columbus, Ohio with his new wife. He harbors great resentment towards his mother, as his relationship with her as he was growing up was very fractured. Remy has returned to Bombay in the hopes of adopting a baby from a teenage girl there. He checks in on his mom and is shocked to see how ill she is. She's in the hospital and has stopped speaking. Remy stays with his mother to help nurse her to health. He comes across a picture one day that confuses him. He confronts his mother, and a devastating family secret is revealed. Remy must learn how to navigate this new knowledge that causes him to completely reevaluate his whole upbringing and his relationship with his parents. Really powerful read. And finally, nonfiction title, the incredibly thought-provoking A Fever in the Heartland by Timothy Egan. This book is a startling read. The author really capably takes us through the rise of the Ku Klux Klan in the Midwest and the ascendancy of D.C. Stevens as the Grand Dragon of Indiana. It's a history of which I was slightly aware, but the pervasiveness in the Klan in the Midwestern towns, particularly in Indiana, was much more significant than I realized. This book is a difficult read, but very worthwhile. It's a page turner, and I could hardly put it down. Highly, highly recommend. What about you, Catherine?
Well, you know, I have some crime in there. I have The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Hallett. And this is complex and has so many layers. It's such an imaginative novel, and it rolls out its storyline in a non-traditional format. So it's mostly told through emails and texts and WhatsApp messages of the main character, Amanda Bailey, who is a really ambitious journalist and herself a true crime aficionado. And she gets a book deal to tell the story of this Alperton Angels cult, and their members allegedly committed suicide. It's full of so many twists and a really unpredictable ending. And the second one that I have is The Scandalous Confessions of Lydia Bennet, Witch by Melinda Taub. And if you are a Jane Austen fan, you're going to want to pick this up. It's just great fun. This is a debut novel that re-examines Pride and Prejudice through a new lens, which I know we hear a lot if you're a Jane Austen fan looking for something different. This retelling imagines Lydia Bennet as the 7th daughter of a 7th daughter, and thus she is a witch. And also her sister, Kitty Bennet, is just a cat. So it's really fun. But my big pick for 2023 was Starling House. This is a Southern Gothic that was the Reese's Book Club pick for October 2023, and it takes place in a small town in Kentucky. And this town, called Eden, is only known for the legend of E. Starling, the reclusive author who wrote a book and disappeared. But before the author vanished, this house, the Starling House, appeared. Everyone agrees that it's best to leave this house and the last heir, Arthur Starling, just leave them alone. But Opal knows that a little too much about messing with haunted houses, but when she gets a job offer that helps her get her brother out of this small town in Kentucky, she can't refuse it. However, sinister forces converge on Starling House, and Opal and the heir Arthur are going to have to work together and make a choice to dig up some secrets and confront their own fears, or to let their town in Kentucky be taken over by nightmares. So Starling House was my pick for 2023. And you can read these and log them as part of our all ages winter reading program that's running now through January 31st. You can find out more or sign up by visiting us at carmelclaylibrary.org. If you would like more staff picks from library staff across the library, check out the library catalog and our staff picks lists. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again in February.